Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Never Lose Your Nerd. In this video, I'm going to do a review over Maul Shadow Lord episode 7 and 8. It's called A Call to Oblivion and the Creeping Fear. Overall, before I get into the video, I like these two episodes. They're very action-packed, heavy on the Empire, heavy on Maul and his backstory, and I'll get into it, but they're really trying to push us feeling sorry for him and pushing that. Of course, he had a very troubled background and growing up, but in the end, like overall, I don't really feel sorry for him. He's made his own choices and as I said, I really did like these two episodes. It really goes heavy and deep into Maul's backstory more and his trauma and just the way he's feeling and how he's of course out for revenge as usual. It's always Maul, story of his life, out for revenge and always losing, winning a little bit, losing again. But this episode picks up from the last one. Everybody is running from the Empire. They said it's heavy Empire in this episode. There was a lot of Empire, a lot of Inquisitors, a lot of saber fighting. It's pretty action packed, especially episode 7. But they're all running from the Empire. It's Riley and Devin most of the episode with Maul. They've escaped with him. Everybody got separated from the Empire, and it's a lot of her still struggling with. I don't think she's really struggling though. She knows where she's at. She knows that she does not want to follow Maul. She knows that he's not a good guy. He's not there for her best interest. He's there basically to just use her as he is. We all know. All he is just wants to use her as a pawn for him to have an apprentice. He still wants to be I don't really know if he wants to be a Sith, but he does want to have an apprentice, somebody that he can teach up and train up to help him take out Sidious, and I guess ultimately take out Kenobi, which is his ultimate goal. But a lot of this shows a lot of Sidious in this, especially with the backstory. But we get reintroduced to one of the Inquisitors. It is the 11th brother, the Crow, which if you've seen, as it tells of the Jedi, Ahsoka actually kills this Inquisitor in her story. This is after Clone Wars, where she gets expelled initially from the Jedi Order from being framed, and then they invite her back, and then she leaves, does her own thing for a while, comes back. But this is after she's on her own for a while, and the Inquisitors find her, and she actually kills the Inquisitor. So this guy's been dealt with before. He's not really that big a threat. He looks cool. I like his look and everything, but he's not really that big a threat. And he combines with the other Inquisitor, Merrick. So, I mean, them together, they're formidable, but them just by themselves, they're okay. I mean, Merrick did take on Maul and Devin by himself, and he put up a really good fight. So, I think Merrick is probably a better fighter than the 11th brother. But as I said, most of this episode is just them running, and eventually they do escape from Maul. Maul's trying to make his plan to take a ship and just get away. He doesn't care. Of course, he doesn't care about the dad or her master. Of course, she's trying to separate them. So, I mean, he can more easily manipulate her, and that she won't have anything to fall back on. But eventually, Riley does get taken by the Empire. The two Inquisitors attack them, and it's too much. They show up in droves. I mean, there's so many clones that get. I think they are still clones, clone troopers that get killed, or I guess stormtroopers. But they just show up just crazy in this episode. And at one point, they're making a plan, and a lot of the Mandalorians are talking about we want to get paid. Like a lot of them are mercenaries. They're there to get paid. They want their money. They're not really that loyal unless they're getting paid. So they're saying they want to get paid. And at one point, they were trying to take all the money. He told them to leave it. So it seemed like there was going to be a lot of conflict, and maybe they were going to backstab them. But this episode ends with the two Inquisitors kind of getting Maul by himself, and he gets his knee damaged from when he's taking a long jump, and then eventually he gets damaged some more, and his legs are not holding up. He's mechanical from his hips, his waist down, so he gets damaged a lot. And this episode ends with him on his knees. He's like, I give up. He basically surrenders. And they said, Well, we're not here to take you in as a prisoner. Sidious wants you dead, so we do get to hear Sidious mentioned. And they go to kill him, and Maul brings down the whole cave. And that's where that episode ends. We come to the next episode, and it's the same thing. Well, we see a lot of Maul walking around. We see a lot of Maul struggling again with how he was raised, and there's a lot of visions of him and Sidious and his mom when he was dropped off as a baby and given to Sidious. And it replays whenever Sidious was fighting them and he kills his brother, kills Savage, and he's sad about that. Shows him as a baby. He's a cute baby though. But before he becomes evil. But one thing that I was kind of like thinking about, we all have a choice. Like Maul continues to be evil throughout his life. He's constantly having chances to become a good guy, change his ways. He doesn't have to be completely good, but he doesn't have to be a constant piece of crap, like always trying to manipulate people. And I know he had a bad upbringing, and I know it's the writing. I said I'm not trying to make it like it's a human story, but he's had plenty of chances to turn good, so I really don't feel sorry for him too much. Like we all have chances to change and make our lives better. So I really don't feel too sorry for him. I mean, I feel sorry for the way he was raised and, like I said, taken as a baby and given to Sidious, who's basically the devil. So, but I mean, like I said, he's the one who's made the decisions to keep going the way he's going. He wants revenge on Kenobi, which was actually his fault. You're the one who killed his master. Then he tried to kill you, so that was basically just revenge. So it's really your fault. And then Sidious, I mean, I understand, but like I said, you could have gotten away from Sidious at some point and tried to turn good. But that's Maul's story. They're not gonna change his story. But I've just never been that big a fan of Maul. Honestly, I've never felt much sympathy for him. I've never really enjoyed his character that much. I mean, he's a fine bad guy, but I said I've never considered him like a huge threat. Besides Phantom of the Menace when he killed Qui Gon, he just constantly he'll win a little bit, he'll lose, but most of the time he's losing and running away. Oh my gosh, it's like here comes Maul again, the same old thing over and over. But in this one, they're trying to get away. Eventually, they do break out. Um, they do break out Riley, and they get help from Two Boots, who finally sees the Empire's bad, and they're just treating him wrong, and they're just treating everybody bad, taking away his power and everything, and just treating him like a droid, which the other guys treated him like he was basically a human. But he sees how the Empire treats him, and that Empire's not good. So eventually, he does help him break him out, and towards the end, the the dad, what's his name, Brander Lawson, he does contact Rena, who's been his contact, and the lady who likes him. Seems like they have a relationship. And towards the end, when they're trying to escape, they tell him to contact her because they have a feeling that it's a setup or there's something going on. And yes, she does give him like a little hint, or she tips him off that it is a trap, and it's the Empire guy. So they get down there, they attack the Empire again. Well, did I mention earlier that one of the brothers got killed? Who was one of the Zabraks? He got killed. He was trying to help Maul before he got killed. So yeah, one of the Zabraks died. The guy with the repeating blaster is pretty cool. He's taken out a lot of stormtroopers and ships in this episode. Rook Cast is actually very loyal to Maul. She's had plenty of chances to run away and betray him, but she hasn't because even Ludi Vario was like, let's just leave. She's like, no, he'll find us. So I give her a prop. She's very loyal. She's very committed to Maul. She's like basically the only one who's actually stuck with him besides the Zabraks. So even though the other guys were wanting to leave, the other Mandalorians. So I appreciate that, I guess, some kind of loyalty in this show. But and then by the end, it's pretty cool. They mentioned Dryden Voss and Crimson Dawn. They contact them. They want a meeting. Once they all escape, Devin ends up staying with her master, of course, and Maul escapes with his crew. So we're basically back to where we started from. Everybody escaped, basically. But we do get a mention, like I said, Dryden Voss, Crimson Dawn. So possibly by the end of this season, we'll see him where he is with Solo, where he's taken over Crimson Dawn and he's the leader. So we'll see where that goes. Maybe this season, maybe next season, they're going to set it up. And yeah, we're also possibly, I wonder if we're going to see Vader by the end of these last 2 episodes. We're definitely not going to see Sidious. Sidious has already been involved before and taking out Maul, so we know Maul's not that big of a threat. But possibly we will see Vader, possibly the two Inquisitor. Well, we will see the two Inquisitors again. So possibly it's going to be like a 3-man team up on Maul. I don't know how he'll escape, but we'll have to see. But yes, there's only 2 more episodes left, I believe. And yeah, just let me know what y'all think. Like I said, these episodes are pretty good. I enjoyed them. Like I said, I still don't really feel a lot of sympathy for Maul. Let me know what y'all think. And yep, wait for the next 2 episodes to come out. If you would, please like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and see you in the next one. Bye.